think that you should put this part in. Almost like an insert non sequitur here.
With zero context. Just put this part in. Hello, my lovely friends. It's Margaret. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be recommending books to dogs. And because we're talking about dogs and books, I had to bring in, like, the expert in my life, which is Cal over at
the expert in your life.
I mean, I am sure there are people who know more about dogs. I don't know them.
Okay, I know all of them. Hi, I'm Cal. My channel is Retrieving Books, which, just to connect it again to the dog thing, it's where I talk about books and my golden retrievers. And I think, interestingly enough, tonight, I think we have like a lot of similar values in our dogs, but I think we have very different tastes in dogs. So I think it'll be interesting, like where we agree and where we disagree.
So let me lay out how things are going to work for people so they kind of have an idea of what we're going with. I have pulled up the AKC's, the American Kennel Club's top like ranking of the breeds of dogs in popularity, and I have put the numbers 1 through 21 in a random number generator. We are going to pull 10 of those breeds as we go, so it's going to be completely randomized. But I didn't want to have to write stuff down on a piece of paper and pull that. I already do enough of that with my TBR game, so I'm like, I just did that this weekend. I'm not in the mood. We are going to talk a little bit about what Cal knows about said breed, and then Cal, if anything, and we will recommend books that we think would meet a person that has those sort of traits.
Yeah, if this is like your ideal dog, like this dog matches your lifestyle, maybe
if your dog could read.
Cassie would be reading like the waterfowl of North America.
Cassie would be really into Redwall, I feel.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Or like, she'd be like, she would think she was Katniss Everdeen. Yeah, like, I hunt.
Basically what you're saying is Cassie is a teenage girl in 2012, all dressed in black.
Yeah, that's taking archery lessons. Yes.
Briar, I feel, would be reading historical rom-coms.
Absolutely. She totally would be. I also think that Briar would be reading like cooking-based rom-coms, like food related.
Oh, I bet she'd love a good cozy mystery too.
Yes, that is very Briar's vibe. Yeah, absolutely. What would Susie have read?
Oh my God, it's been so long since I've interacted with my dog.
You say because she has passed away, not because you have abandoned her.
No, my dog has been dead for a very long time. Like half a decade at least. We had to put her down.
1,000 years.
I feel like Susie would be really into like comic books.
Oh, we love it. Okay.
And not like I don't know that she and I would agree on like our favorites. I think she would have some different favorites than I do.
Oh, who?
I think she would probably be more like she'd be probably more like Black Canary.
Noise.
like she actually no, I think she was really smart and she really paid attention to stuff. So yeah, I do think Batman would be a good one for her to be like her favorite. I think we would align in that.
Okay. I think Briar would be like Miss Marvel, like Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. I think Cassie would be like the Punisher.
That fits.
Yeah.
I think Susie might also be into a good dystopian.
Oh, okay, so, Susie.
Yeah, like it's real world, not quite sci-fi. She doesn't strike me as a sci-fi gal, but like a good dystopian, and she maybe occasionally would get into some like speculative fiction because she was a goofball occasionally and did weird stuff.
If Macus could read, Macus is the service dog candidate I'm raising. I think he would read Captain Underpants, and like that's it. That's all he reads.
Captain Underpants, and he'd probably get a kick out of Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Like that is the genre. That's it.
Is Porto still in chapter books?
No, Porto is reading advanced manuals for like global destruction. Like like
Oh, I thought that was just
like
download
more
the kitten puppy
textbooks,
brains.
engineering manuals. No, Porto's smart. Like,
Oh boy, I worry for y'all when he gets old enough to start acting up.
oh no, he's doing really well in his training. He's just like clever, and a lot of Goldens are really sensitive. And so they feel bad when they disappoint you or they don't do the right thing. Porto doesn't know that he's supposed to do that. Porto's just like, he really wants to do the right thing because he wants to get the reward, but he's like, I don't care. I want to get what I want.
I'm surprised he is not super sensitive considering what I have heard from him.
He screams. He'll tell you how he's feeling, but he's very resilient. Yeah, he like, if something scares him, he immediately gets over it.
Shall we figure out what our first dog breed is going to be?
Absolutely.
I feel like
those Goldens after this.
Since I've already recommended books to my dog personally, I think I'm going to take Standard Schnauzer off the list. So we'll just do 1 through 20.
Well, don't do Goldens either. We just recommended 4 books to 4 different Goldens.
So the second most popular dog is what we are going to be recommending to, which is a French Bulldog. Which
okay,
I'm gonna say very unpopular opinion. People need to stop buying.
So there's always the caveat of like, there are people out there that breed them nicely and breed them well but that is not the
like with the pugs where they've got people who they're trying to breed back in the traits so the dogs can breathe again.
Yes, so they're trying to return the dog to like a non-consumerist shit bag state. Do I like them either way? No. Not personally. They're very loud. They're very goofy. They're very like.
We had one down the street from us. Okay,
loud,
goofy.
Yeah, they're called clown dogs, right? They're like entertainment. Like, I know some that are like fit and exercise and do stuff seriously, but like, I feel like that's not the majority of people who get a French Bulldog. That's not what they want.
Yeah, and that's not the majority of people who get a small dog. So.
Yeah,
you will find that both of us are very frustrated by people who have small dogs and then refuse to train them.
There's no problem with small dogs in theory. It's just that we still have to treat them like dogs.
It's not the dogs, it's the owners. A lot of it.
That's always true.
So we have established that French Bulldogs are loud and funny.
Yeah, they're entertaining. They're funny.
Okay.
I wouldn't want my dog to be like a joke all the time, but they're funny. I think it would have to be like a comedy memoir. So like,
what's the name? Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher.
Like that, or Is Everybody Hanging Out Without Me by Mindy Kaling? Like those kind of things, that would be like a French Bulldog book.
Okay.
So like celebrity funny memoirs.
Let's see what the next one is. 12. What is number 12?
Didn't Carrie Fisher have a French Bulldog too?
I think French Bulldog.
Yeah. Okay, well then there you go.
Oh yeah, he's one of those that his tongue cannot fit in his mouth because his nose is so small. Oh, this should be fun. Australian Shepherds is our next one.
Okay, this is a breed where it's like, they're a really cool breed in a lot of ways, and they're just very not for me.
Their drive is like super high, isn't it?
Yes, but they're also very nervy. I'd say that they're really athletic. They're kind of angry.
Okay.
They're loud. I have not met a quiet one. No. And to me, they always come across as like a little bit testy. Like they're like watching you with eyes that are like ready to fight. Like.
Okay.
So maybe
interesting. That's not been my experience, but I don't know the lines that you've been. But I also the one that I had the most experience with was one that was bred to be a service dog, or a guide dog.
So like probably like more like a big show line. Yeah.
She was a failed service dog, but that was the original
I wonder why.
That was the original plan.
Okay, so I think one thing about Australian Shepherds is that they're very intelligent and they're really successful in a lot of different fields, like obedience, agility, herding, scent detection. Like they can pretty much do anything.
Okay.
because they are like really like smart multi-purpose dogs. So I'd say like maybe like some kind of action book that a lot of people would enjoy.
Okay. Okay, because what you were describing earlier, I was thinking this sounds like exactly the kind of dog that would be into dystopians. Not to do that one again.
Yeah, I could
But, like,
see that. Yeah. Or like
especially
a
if you got
really
to like the more like political dystopians that you're having to use more brain power and it's not like
yeah.
you have to analyze it a little bit.
I could even see like a really like gritty like sci-fi or fantasy even.
Mhm.
They
They would like grimdark, apparently.
they make me go to dark places when I think about having to like spend time with one.
If you have any of these breeds and you think that we are wrong in our recommendations, feel free to let me know in the comments what you would recommend your dog instead.
Okay, I feel like I'm being a shit. There's like lots of dog breeds that I adore.
We have hit on two of the ones that I was like, it was so funny because I saw Australian Shepherd come up and I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. So, our next, are you sure you want to skip Goldens? Because they just came up.
We can talk about them.
Okay. Tell me, what are the traits the Goldens have?
Okay. Goldens are a medium-sized gun dog developed in the late 19th century in Scotland for waterfowl retrieving. They are meant to be a companionable family and working dog that have an on switch so that they can work in drive outdoors for long hours, and a great off switch so that they can also live in the house and like be calm and easy to live with. I'd say that like Goldens, they love to learn, but they take patience to learn because they'll shut down easily if they don't think that if they think that they're disappointing you. They're sensitive to disappointing you. They would like genuinely, and this is I'm saying this in public, they would rather be physically corrected than feel like emotionally they have let you down 10 out of 10 times.
Except Cassie.
No, same with Cassie.
And with Cassie? Oh, okay.
Cassie does not mind physical correction at all, but if she thinks I'm upset with her, she's very upset. Oh. If you were upset with her, she wouldn't care because she doesn't care.
Yeah, no, because I'm not you.
But yeah, she gets very upset if she thinks I'm or she can't get the answer right. She'll like, you can see her in her eyes when she can't figure out the right thing to do. She's very upset. She likes being right a lot.
I feel like these would be dogs that would like be continually in nonfiction.
I would say yes.
Everything they could.
They would be like picking up like the latest like hot off the press topic nonfiction book.
Yeah.
Like she's trying to like learn and be better people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
And like not wanting to look stupid in front of their friends, so they're always trying to like if there's something they don't know.
Yeah.
They're the
dogs that it doesn't necessarily come the easiest to them, but they try really fucking hard. They're not the smartest. They're never going to be the best at things, but they're always the most reliable, you know? If you're like, oh, like go read this book, it came out by this author, I think they've gone and read it. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to the library.
And then they come back ready to do book club.
Yeah, they do. And they have good points. And they're like, I really respect your opinion. Like they're really, that's Goldens.
I feel like they would have a hard time talking about their own opinion on a book if it didn't align with the groups.
They'd have a hard time giving a negative opinion.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, it wasn't my favorite. I didn't love it.
Well, I gave it 3 stars. That's a good rating.
yeah. That's that.
They'd be the one that 3 stars it when they want a 2-star or 1-star it.
That's me also sometimes.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I understand the people who want to be authors that are like, I'm not giving anything I read less than 3 stars, especially in my genre and my age category. But at the same time, I'm like, if you can't,
they deserve it.
Yeah, well, so like, no, the thing is that they never give anything 2 stars or 1 star, and it's like I understand the logic behind that and why you do it, and being careful, and being respectful of other authors and their work, but reviews are subjective, and if you cannot handle someone you work with not liking your book,
right,
maybe you shouldn't be writing that book.
Well, it's also the issue is like working with critique partners, right? Critique partners that won't critique, but they just
But it's like the idea that like having someone 1-star your book and then it's awkward if you have to be on a panel with them or something, and I'm just like, I mean, if you have good points and valid points for why
Yeah.
you didn't like my book that much, I'm not going to be mad about it.
I wanna hear them. I'd like
Yeah,
to
I'm not
know.
going to, especially if you're one of my peers, I'm not gonna be mad about it
Yeah.
unless you're being like 1 star because Percy Jackson is a redo of Harry Potter.
So Wilder and I, my friend Wilder, who I train with, who I'm apprenticing under, we were talking about this the other day. Being in dog sports makes you like way tougher to criticism than
Yeah.
you were before it, because dog sports, it's like you fucked up the dog. Like the dog did everything perfectly, and if you had just had better body language or like better this, better that, it would have gone better. Like everything that wrong that happened today was your fault. I'm lucky that my sport people are really nice, but in her sport people are like, so
Oh my
yeah,
god.
like I feel like it would be the same with writing, right? Like as long as you're being respectful and you have like intelligent reasons why you didn't like it,
Mhm.
please tell me.
And reviews are for readers, not for authors. I mean, this is probably partly me coming from a drama background where I have had to do auditions, and you don't always get the part even when you do well.
Right, there's
So,
somebody
like,
who's doing better than you, or the director didn't like something about it, or like
yeah,
whatever.
or you didn't fit their vision. Like when I went in, I wanted to get into the musical theater program. I
Mhm.
auditioned twice for the musical theater program. What I found out after my second audition is the people who were accepted into the musical theater program were based on who he thought he could cast for what the upcoming musical was going to be. But like it really does get you used to having to step back and go okay, this is a subjective matter, and what can I take from this to learn from it? Because like
Right.
I knew I wasn't a bad singer, I just wasn't what they wanted.
And that's
So,
gonna be lots of writing too. Like I even
yeah.
recognize that like the Kiss quotient that I finished today, lots of people loved it. And
Mhm.
the
Well, a
way
lot
that
of
they interacted with each other, I hate it.
even people who loved it, I know probably one of the scenes that made you mad about that one. Even people who loved it had a problem with that scene. Let us go on to our next dog breed, which is I don't even know. I don't know that I know your opinion on this one, but the Beagle.
Oh, okay. Actually, so this is another one I wouldn't personally own. Um, because I have a very limited range of dogs I would personally own. But I actually do
Which is
really like beagles.
basically like a handful of retrievers, and that's it.
I actually really like beagles. Alex and
Yeah,
I, we dog sat for a couple that had a beagle.
I remember
Um,
that.
yeah, and we would spend like 2 weeks with him, and he was a lovely dog. What I like about them is that they're really friendly, like easygoing dogs in the house. Like they're
Mhm.
so they'll get into things, so you have to be like careful like food and shit. But because that nose, right? That nose is like the most powerful tool on this planet. They're so soft and snuggly and like really affectionate and
Mm.
nice, and they're just like easy to get along with. They make noises that I imagine are like demonic. Like if I believed in demons, that's what I would imagine they would sound like. Um,
I
they're
was gonna say they sound like an air raid siren, but
They
yes.
do. Yeah, okay, right? Like it's like, oh, that came out of a dog. Um, like, and we were lucky that the beagle we watched only did it outside. Like he only did it because he was like activated, right? Like he saw a
Mhm.
squirrel or a bird or something. He never did it in the
Which is
house.
what their job is.
Exact, and that's the thing. You can't even blame them. And he had that. So, like, what I don't like about them is that because of that instinct, they're harder to walk. They're a bit harder to train. They're not super bright, but I really like them. Like they have these great personalities and stuff. So it's
Okay, so great personality, but not much going on up here.
yeah. Like I'm okay, this is bad, but I'm thinking like a great like smutty rom-com that's really fun and satisfying but does not challenge anything. Like it's
Yeah.
just a good story.
It's one of like a guilty pleasure type of rom-com is what you're saying.
Right, like it doesn't
Like
really make you think. It
it's
doesn't.
just two people banging.
Yeah, and it's a good story, and you're like,
Plot,
"Aw,
what is that?
you make me feel good." But, like,
Mhm.
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
just fun, it's a good time.
I think there's some like middle grade fiction that would be good for them as well. Like if you
Okay,
got the right kind of middle grade adventure story, it's simple enough for them.
yeah. Okay, Percy Jackson would be a beagle a little bit.
I want to disagree with that, but I don't know what to counter it with.
Well, I think you could say like other dog, but I could see him being like if he got like turned into a dog, I could see it being a beagle.
All right, number 20. Who is that? The 20th one on here is the Bernese Mountain Dog.
Oh.
I don't know much about this one.
Okay, so I don't have a problem with them like personality wise. They're a bit loud. They bark. I hate barking. Ooh, that's probably like I'm sitting here talking about how much I love dogs. I don't like barking or a lot of vocalizing. There's 3 dogs in my house right now, and at most you've heard Briar one time. Any dog that's like excessively vocal and that's just a part of their breed standard is never going to be my cup of tea. They're beautiful animals. They're lovely, lovely animals.
They got very sweet faces. Let me see. Oh my God, 7 to 10 years.
They tend to
good-natured, calm, strong.
So I'd say they're like a Song of Achilles or an Addie LaRue book where like it's really good and you enjoy it, but it does leave you feeling a little fucked up.
They like okay, so you're talking like something that's going to be like historical fiction almost?
Yeah, okay, so
it's going to be like alternative.
Like The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donohue. It's like so great and you're like rooting for this couple and then like tragedy strikes, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, did you just come out of the book and punch me in the face? Like, is that what you did?
Okay, so I'm feeling like they'd also be good for like a good recommendation for them would be like Ruta Sepetys.
Yes, yeah.
Like she leaves you feeling devastated but also hopeful at the same time.
Between Shades of Grey is like really hard to get.
I haven't read that one. I've read Salt to the Sea and I thought she did a really good job of balancing it.
Between Shades of Grey takes place in World War II Lithuania and it's like fucked. Like it's as fucked as you can imagine World War II Lithuania would be.
Yeah. A recent one I could recommend them would be like Pachinko.
Okay.
Like there is a whole bunch of like just like dark shit that happens in that book.
I like how we're like Bernie's Mountain Dog tragedy. But it's true, like they're one of the more well-known heartbreak breeds where you get them, you love them a lot because they are such nice dogs and then they die horrendously.
You know, you would think we would be breeding dogs to improve their longevity.
Well, and we do because you know another heartbreak breed is the Golden Retriever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they get hip dysplasia real easy, don't they? If you don't have them the right lines.
Lots of bone cancer. And my dogs come from lines that live well into their teens. My girl's 4 times great grandmother died at 17.
Oh, nice.
Cassie's grandma just beat lymphoma and she's out doing sports again. You have to get them from good lines. And I am sure that there are better Bernese Mountain Dog breeders. But again, when there's so much variation in Goldens that you can find lines like that. There's not as much variation, I don't think, with Bernese Mountain Dogs, at least in Canada. I don't know about in Switzerland. Or well, like they're from
Switzerland. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So now we do 6, which is 16. 16. Okay, 16 is the Doberman Pinscher, which is what my mother wants.
I like Dobes.
They look scary, but they're really sweet dogs in my experience.
Mine too. My mom got really badly attacked by one as a kid. Yeah. It ran onto an ice skating rink and picked her up by her coat and shook her.
Wow. How small was she?
3.
That would be terrifying as a 3-year-old. They're a tricky breed because like the one we met when we were doing dog training, there was one in the class right after Susie. Yeah. And he was like, if you do train them right and you like they're lovely. They are the biggest babies you will ever meet. But if you do like make the mistakes that make them like feed into the aggression, that's when you start to have problems. Which with a lot of like protective breeds, that's something you have to worry about. We had to worry about that with Susie as well.
Exactly. And so like I've let like somebody at Wilder's Club has a Doberman's and her Doberman bitch is lovely, like so friendly. And she uses her to socialize puppies because she's so good with other dogs. Like you never think of her as a menacing anything.
No, but Susie was the same way until we got surprised in a dark alley by my brother.
Bit of a different situation. Yeah. So I like them. I really like their like aesthetically, I think they're one of the more gorgeous breeds out there. I love their look.
Oh yeah, they
I
have
don't
a
know
really
if I
nice look.
own one. Again, another heartbreak breed. And then they can also be nervy because they are pinchers. So, but
Okay.
it depends on where you get them from. It depends on what they're being bred for. What about a book that's like not everybody's cup of tea? Like a genre that you like love, like maybe like sci-fi. You know, where you like you either love it, you enjoy it so much, you're such a fan of it, or you're just like, nah, not for me. Like think about I love those Dobermans. I would pet them, play with them, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd go meet anyone's Doberman, but my mom would like rather die. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because she was traumatized by one when she was 3.
Right. Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
see. So what are they like personality wise?
Oh, happy, fun,
Okay.
I think happy, fun dogs.
Dogs.
I think they can be a bit aloof, like a bit more like a one person dog.
Okay.
But
Okay,
they're nice dogs.
I think like a good like lighthearted sci-fi would fit them then. Like you're thinking
Like a
like
fun space opera kind of thing.
yeah, like a fun space
Okay.
opera, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Long Way
Okay,
to
yeah.
a Small Angry Planet. Like I don't think they borderline like stuff like that gets more into the technical aspects like Leviathan Wakes, but like I feel like they'd be
Yeah.
more important like fun adventure, but also like the serious kind of existential
Right.
thought
And
stuff that
still
comes
not
with
gonna
sci-fi.
be everybody's forte. You
Yeah.
know? Some people are gonna look at that and be like, no. But
Mhm.
but then if you love it, you love it.
The 4th most popular breed in the AKC is the German Shepherd.
So I like them a lot.
Okay.
They are more intelligent. They're probably smarter than us, right? Like probably the average German Shepherd has better intellect than we do. They are vocal. They sing. They like so even train like going to watch bite
I'm
sports.
starting to understand why you don't like huskies.
Okay, so even going to watch like bite sports with shepherds, like the Malinois, like the Belgian shepherds, are like barking. They're like ruff, ruff, like they're yelling at it. The German shepherds, it's like one high pitched whine that goes the entire time, and I'm like, how do you live with that? And I like, but the thing is, then like there's the service dog ones I know are like calm and lovely and quiet. So really like kind of like Goldens and Labs and everything, there's so much diversity of German shepherds. So really you can get ones that are like stoic and quiet and very lovely, and some that are like brilliant, but like mad scientist brilliant, where they're like, ha! Like,
So I'm feeling fantasy from Germans then because
yeah, I think it would
there's
have to be.
so
It would have
many
to be something epic.
like you can have the grimdark fantasy and you can also have just the off the walls bonker stuff and everything in between.
A great example is a German Shepherd named Kestrel that I knew. He came from like sports lines. He's a sports dog now, but we would train Briar in the same house where he was, but he would be in a crate in a different room, and every time we would click for Briar, like the clicker, he would start screaming because he wanted it. Like he wanted to be doing whatever she was doing. He wanted to be working so bad.
That is so funny.
Like that, like the just hearing her work was like he couldn't keep calm. Like
That's
then,
wild.
he was brilliant though, right? Like such a brilliant, powerful dog that you can in no way compare what I have with Goldens to what like that dog had going on upstairs. Like nothing. The difference between a Beagle and a French Bulldog and that German Shepherd is like a different species. Like,
entirely.
I think so. I think they'd be not only fantasy, but they'd be fantasy like with really involved world building.
8th most popular breed, the Rottweiler.
I like Rotties. This is just biased. I just like
that's another one that if you're good about not like feeding the aggression and you make sure they're socialized properly, they're like the biggest freaking babies.
If that's not what you want, if you're doing like bite work or protection work with it, you want to feed that.
You want that. Well, I mean, like I'm thinking more like because they are a protective breed, so there are like there's going to be some instincts there, but if you socialize them properly, where they're not like going off at anything, and like will like they're not the kind of dog you have to worry about taking to a park, and they're not going to be like super aggressive, if that makes sense.
Well, I would never take mine to a dog park. I would never take mine to, like, that's the thing. I think people are failing their dogs when they put them in these
Like, yeah.
situations a lot. They're setting them up to fail. But yeah, the ones I've met have been absolute, like, lovely dogs. And I'm sure that within them is obviously there is the capability to turn that on. But like they've been trained very well. And I've heard that they're a bit harder to train. Like they're hardy dogs. Like you have to make them want to work for you. You have to make them understand that consequences are serious. They're not gonna like be the golden that's like, oh, sorry. They're not gonna be like that.
You need to convince them to listen to you.
Like, yeah, you have to. So like, it's not. I wouldn't even get one now, right? Like I would love to have one day. I wouldn't get one now because I'd want to be a better handler first.
Personality wise, what are Rottweilers like? Besides big babies,
I say like high energy. Like they're gonna be the ones to want to chew a lot. They might like rip up your house if they're not stimulated enough.
So they're gonna need a book that's really gonna make them think. It sounds
I'm thinking like historical nonfiction.
Historical nonfiction,
like a really like chat brain teaser kind of like
like
not like you have to be like a physicist to get it, but like something
like you're having to follow multiple different things. Like your brain is keeping track of other things while you're reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like your novice book, but it's also not completely inaccessible.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of good historical nonfiction like that that like has so much going on.
Yeah.
So
the Five was a great example.
The Five, well, yeah, like they would be really into something like the Black Cabinet. I feel where like you're having to keep track of track of so many different people, and that was my one thing that I felt like I lost track of who was who so often, because you'd have people that disappear from the narrative for like a chapter or so, and then they'd come back and be like, oh yeah, they were
100 pages ago when we talked about Joe. Well, let me tell you, here's what he's doing now.
Yeah.
Great.
And like it was one of those things that there were so many names and so many people coming in and out. And it was back in one of those times when a lot of people had similar names.
The James, John, or Joseph.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not like showing you pictures every time they talk about this person and all of that. So like it was difficult to keep track of everyone except Mary McLeod Bethune. That partly was user error, by the way, because it did take me several months to read the Black Cabinet, just because it's nonfiction and nonfiction.
No worries, or no wonder. Sorry that
So nonfiction is like the first thing to get put down when there is something else I need to be reading at that moment. All right, our ninth. That's not the random number generator. Our ninth breed is. We already did 20. 15. Okay, I know which one this is. Oh, no, I don't. Oh, okay. The Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Gabby! Oh, this is actually the dog that I've convinced successfully, Sarah, that she'll be getting someday. Because it's like the dog if you are a cat person.
Yeah, they're really pretty little dogs. I remember back when I used to be subscribed to Dog Fancy, they had an entire issue that was like there was a huge chunk towards the Cavalier, and I was like, that's the next breed I want to get.
I could see you with them if you didn't have dog allergies.
Yeah,
because they're spaniels, so they have that fur, but they're nice. Like if you they're bred specifically for their temperament, right? So they're bred to be pets. They don't really have a working purpose. They're meant to like sit in the king's robes and keep him warm. So they're like an absolute complete novice person could get a King Charles Cavalier Spaniel.
Oh my God. They're lap warmers.
They're literally lap warmers. They're soft. They're very delicate. They don't need a lot of exercise. They need like a bit of mental stimulation because they are spaniels. They're very good with children because they tend to be gentle. They tend to be just like very social, love everybody, but they are delicate. They are fragile, and they do. There is a very bad heart disease that runs through them genetically, so you would need to avoid that. But and then they do have the bulgy eyes. They're a bit bracky, so they have the bulgy eyes. So you do have to be careful. So they have some health concerns. But temperament-wise, they are so lovely. And you can do stuff with them. Like I know some that are like in dog sports. Like agility and obedience and rally and stuff, because they're just like little fun dogs that like to work with you, but they're not too complicated.
Yeah, and it's like they're more there for you than they are for the thing they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You know what I'm thinking?
What are you thinking? I'm thinking something.
Okay, I'm thinking of like a a witchy like autumn vibe book. Like something that's just like a feel good, aesthetic, cozy book.
A cozy book. Okay.
Cozy
Because
book, yeah.
I'm over here thinking like because they're there to kind of keep you warm. They need a little bit of mental stimulation, but not much. I'm thinking like a rom-com.
Yep, okay.
With a slight undertone of some sort of social issue or something.
So even like the kiss quotient, like we
yeah,
were talking
like
about, or
the kiss quotient.
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Get a Life, Chloe Brown. That kind of thing.
I think I would
something that they're gonna want to read something that makes them feel good.
Yeah, read the book, hold the dog on my lap, have a great time.
They're gonna want to read something that makes them feel good, but also maybe engages their brains just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. Yeah, I know. I think that's perfect.
So that was 9. We have one more. Who's it gonna be? We already did Goldens. And yeah, we did just, it literally went 3, 2, 1 for Labrador Retrievers. Final breed, the Labrador Retriever, everyone's favorite dog for the last like 100 years.
It's because they're great.
I understand why people like labs the most. It's fine.
So this is probably the next breed I will own. So the next dog I'll probably get is probably a Cassie daughter if we breed her. Like if she passes everything. But then the next dog I would just like buy outside would either be a lab or a duck toller, and I'm really leaning towards a lab right now.
If you got a duck toller, you could have a Margaret dog.
I would call it Maggie just for you. No. I'm thinking a little black lab. A little black.
Oh, I saw one at the park today. He was like really little and goofy.
Yeah. I want one specifically from like working lines. I don't like the bigger showy labs. So the big problem with labs right now is it's even worse than Goldens. There's a breed split. So there's the show line labs that tend to be very big and bulky, and they're almost built like pigs. And then there's the really hunting line labs that tend to go the opposite, where they almost look like whippets or like hounds, where they're very like thin and lanky. And so like a lot of people right now to get the best labs are importing them from Europe, where they're still thin and small, but they've got that more square, sturdy building, and that's kind of what I like. And actually, I'm watching a lab for a week starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, little black lab boy Kaiser. He's gonna come over and I'm going to kiss his face. They are driven dogs. Like so I think the good way we describe it at class, like retrieving class, because we do train with labs as well, is Goldens, you teach them what to do. Labs, you teach them what not to do, right? Like the Golden, you have to be like, this is where we can do it. Come on, this is what we're going to do. The lab is like, whoa, not that fast. Like, you know, labs move at the speed of sound. Like they're like,
okay.
They're really, they want to work, man. Like a lab wants to work. It does not take much encouragement to get them to work. You have to put more control on them because they are so eager. They're meant to like jump into the Arctic water in like Labrador, Canada, and get fish nets out. So like they're tough. Very friendly, not quite as social and goofy as Goldens, but still like that nice, charming personality that you like with retrievers.
Yeah.
They're very food motivated. They're kind of like Briar. They're the kind of dog that'll do anything for a kibble. One piece of kibble.
Not schnauzers.
No, and it's not a lot of dogs. It's not a lot of dogs. It's that's like, exactly why
she would do it for treats, but not for kibble. Her kibble, she'd be like, yeah, I guess I'd have to eat that because I'm hungry.
But that's why a lot of complex training, like obedience and service, is labs and Goldens.
Yeah, because they're
you can ask them to work for nothing. They're just like, one piece of kibble, my lucky day. Like,
and they tend to be friendlier dogs.
Yeah, they're just Really nice temperaments, very clever, very smart, but again, not too smart that they pose a challenge. The labs I know are hunting line labs, so they're a bit more intense.
Okay. I'm getting intense, driven.
They're like your type A student at school. That's the
Okay.
Labrador Retriever, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. They're the type A student from like the family that's pushing you to get into Harvard. It sounds like. Like just like they have that personality without the family that's pushing you to go to Harvard.
Yeah. But
Like
not
the eldest. They have real older sibling energy.
they are, they do. Yeah.
There you go. They have eldest daughter type A student energy.
They do. Yeah, they're fun. They're big jumpers. They can jump really high. They're very athletic. When you see a really muscly lab, that is a hot dog. You're like, oh,
very active, driven, all of that. I'm getting thriller vibes.
I can see that. I was also thinking like Dark Academia, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be good too. So I think that was 10, right?
I think so.
And we did not get to any of the schnauzers. I thought with 15 we were getting to the schnauzers.
Well, why don't you describe what you, because you've met more schnauzers than I have.
I have met one.
I forget that not everybody that gets a dog immediately becomes obsessed with the entirety of the breed.
Well, it's one of those things that like we met. I mean, her breeder wasn't very involved after we got her at all. We met her siblings, her parents, and her parents were lovely dogs. So schnauzers are too smart for their own good. They're very stubborn. They're also very friendly dogs. Like, and I thought that this was just like a Susie thing, but it turns out it's a breed trait that they're very.
I've met has been nice.
Yeah, they're very friendly dogs. They can get kind of loud and yappy if you let them, especially if we're talking about a mini. But the standards, they're gonna have a proper bark, but they are also a protective breed, so they're going to defend their territory. If so, a leaf blows across the street, they're going to be at the door barking.
Well, okay, so my feeling is a dog should bark every time somebody comes to the door.
Yeah.
It should bark. I want to know that. Yes. I don't need to know what's happening across the street. I don't care.
And Susie was barking at the people across the street. She was really good, though, because like we wanted her to bark if there was someone around the house. That was part of why we got a schnauzer. She was trained to, she would bark, we would say enough, and she would be done for about 5 minutes, as long as it moved on. If they stayed there, she'd be back in 5 minutes.
Right.
But that was more on us than on her, probably.
But that's still like she understands the concept of like enough.
Yes.
Like
yes. They tend to be very easily trainable breeds, but they're also very stubborn and will not always listen or do what's best for them.
Do what's best for them by whose standards? Because all dogs do what they think is best
for them. Let us say that my dog has tried to strangle herself. Or did try to strangle herself on more than one occasion.
Thought it was worth it.
And I was like, no, you cannot go over there. You are on the leash, and I am not allowed to let you off the leash. We are in a public park. There are other people and dogs here, and you, ma'am, do not have great recall. They also tend to, like, at least Susie tended to stay close to home. Like, she was not a very, like, wandery dog.
That's like more territorial, right? Like this is my area. This is
I think we had to chase her down like once or twice, and she never got past our block.
Every golden I know is like very good at like running a certain distance and then stopping and waiting for you to catch up.
Yeah. And Susie was like that. She would, like, if the times that I did take her to the dog park, like she would play around a little bit, but she always knew where we were at all times, and she would come back and check in with us.
It's an instinct thing, right? Like some dogs have it and some dogs don't. For example, huskies are more notorious for like running away because they don't have that. They have a more nomadic instinct. Susie's supposed to be on her property all the time. Goldens are supposed to go get the duck, bring it back. Like, of course they're going to
exactly.
Yeah.
Which, like, if you don't know, like, schnauzers, for those that don't know, schnauzers are one of the dogs that is used in German police work. So, like, that's part of what they were bred for.
Working with their people to do a certain job.
Yeah.
But whereas beagles are also notorious for running away because they put their nose to the ground and go wherever it takes them, and they're not thinking about what's behind them.
They're like, the human will catch up later. This is
yeah. He'll find me.
which works real well in the English countryside, not so well in the middle of a city.
Or in North America, where the countryside doesn't end at the ocean for a very long time.
I think for schnauzers, they're going to want something that's going to make them think a little bit, but also allow them to have a good fun time. There are definitely things that they enjoy, but you also have to like be mentally stimulating them, and like they are very high energy dogs. My dog,
What
to
about
the
a
day
heist
she
mode?
died,
What about
heist. What?
what about like a heist?
That yes, that would be perfect.
Like a good
Like,
6 of Crows would have really got Susie's gears going.
yeah, that
Mm.
would like they have because you have to sit and you're trying to figure out what they're gonna do, but you're
Yeah.
also on edge the entire time.
And then there's that reward at the end. Like, oh, we did it. We got it. We won.
My dog, as I was telling Cal earlier, is the 96th most popular dog, behind both miniature schnauzers at 18 and giant schnauzers at like 65.
Giant really surprises me.
It does me too, because they are not as much of a pet-sized dog. I would have expected them to be switched.
I understand the minis just because what people like, but like the standard is kind of like my ideal size. So
Mhm.
and like the perfunctory ideal, like I just don't get it.
It does. Yeah, I know. It's yeah, like, and they make great pets. Like they do make good pets. So
Well,
like
and
it's one
like
of those things that I'm like, why
the
would you want the bigger
giant
one?
is just the same thing but doesn't fit in a crate.
Yeah.
Like what do you like why?
Those are our thoughts on what these 10 breeds and what they would want to read.
Literate dogs.
Literate dogs. And
Literate
if
dogs.
any of these things kind of match up with your personality and you want to find something to read too, you can.
Oh wait, frick. Brianna's gonna kill us.
Because we didn't do St. Bernards.
Yeah.
All right. We can do St. Bernards real quick. In my defense, it was randomized.
It was randomized. No, let's just pick a book for Doyle and for Shotzi because I feel like they're both their own thing.
Oh, Doyle is definitely a cozy mystery kind of dog.
Yeah. Okay.
He wants
Yeah.
something that's not going to be too taxing, but it's going to give him warm fuzzies. He's going to want something he can cuddle with.
I don't. There's like this French Canadian mystery series that's a cozy mystery series that Sarah loves, and it's just like always wholesome and takes place in this small town in the Quebec countryside, and I can really see that for Doyle. Yeah.
Shotzi's chaotic. She would need a genre that's just like wild.
She'd be like Saga, like just like a random indie comic series that's like insane, like out of this world. Yeah, that's Shotzi.
Do you have anything that you would like to plug for your channel? Well, that's a good question.
I had a vlog come out called Reading Autism Representation, vlog number 1, where I talk about The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang and my experience with that. And so you can go watch that, but otherwise I'm doing Veda, so I have a video coming out every single day, and on the 19th specifically, because that's the only day after the 13th that I've scheduled yet, as of March 30th when we're filming this, on April 19th, the day that the Batman comes to streaming, I have a video where I admit defeat. I capitulate.
I am so looking forward to that.
I'm sorry I had to wait 20 days.
I'm just like so looking forward to it. If all is going according to plan, tomorrow I don't have any video down for tomorrow on this calendar, but I do have one planned. I don't remember what it is, but I will have let's see. I have a review coming out on Friday. We'll have sprints on Saturday, and then whatever the heck I've decided is going on Sunday. So who knows? Who knows at this point what I have coming out? If you are feeling chatty, go ahead and let me know what you would recommend one or more of these breeds that we have discussed. If you are not feeling chatty, but you still want to let me know that you watched to the end of the video, go ahead and leave me a dog emoji. Any dog. I think there are multiple dog emojis.
Okay, so you can leave Margaret any emoji you want, but leave me the Golden Retriever service dog emoji.
Okay. The Golden Retriever service dog emoji, that is our final answer. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I will have videos down here that you can also watch from other Veda content. And that is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will
Time for
talk.
more wordy, nerdy things.
Yes. Bye.